All right, let's talk about Bryce Young, who we only got to see him with one drive here in this game, but it was a good drive. He showed some really nice stuff in it, so that's what I want to talk about. Real quick, if you like movies, I do have a movie channel. Check that out. The link is in the description below. But yeah, let's not ramble on. Let's just get into the film. Let's start off with this play. What's going to happen here is, so for Bryce Young, it's a 2nd down and 2, and he's going to start off, looking towards the deep route all the way towards his right. As you see, Young looks in that direction, and is it open? I mean, you could look at this and sit here and say, oh, well, there's maybe a window. It looks like the receiver has half a step. But the important thing to note is there is a safety who's deep on that side of the field. So it is not going to be as easy a throw as it kind of looks on the screen right now. Young notices this. He also notices that situation, which looks to be a pretty good situation for Carolina, right? I mean, the defensive player who's covering 85 for Carolina has his back completely turned towards Young, so he can't see what's happening. So Young gets over there, he noticed it really quickly, gets to that next read, and picks up a big gain. Again, when Bryce Young was getting a lot of draft hype when he was drafted 1st overall, a lot of it was because of this. It was because when a play doesn't work, he figures out a way to make it work. Usually you think, oh, Alabama quarterback, everything was working fine, but that wasn't the case for him in college, and he was still able to do great stuff when a play breaks down, stuff like this, so kind of good to see that he still has his fastball, so to speak. A play like this is also interesting. So this is going to be a 2nd down and 6 situation. And for Bryce Young, another thing that usually was considered one of his better attributes was his ability to get around pressure. And as you're going to see on this play, the good news for Bryce Young is that usually he gets to show off that attribute in Carolina. At least he certainly did his first season. He was constantly under pressure. So under pressure here as well. Worth noting, a big part of how a quarterback gets under pressure, it isn't just an offensive lineman losing. That's what people always bring up because obviously that's the thing you notice when you're watching. But a lot of times too, it's a play not working as designed. If Bryce Young had an area where he could go with the football, he wouldn't be in a issue because he would already be throwing the football. But because he's not, he has to figure something else out. And at first, he's going to do a pretty good job here. Gets around the first guy and gets around the second guy. So actually gets around another guy as well. So gets around 3 different Buffalo Bills players. That's very good. You like to see that. No real critiques there. But here's the issue. Then he's going to turn around, try to lower the shoulder, and really kind of gets clobbered right there. So not the best play, and you got to protect yourself, right? So while it's good to see that he could make those moves, at a certain point, you might just have to go down because you don't want to be taking. I mean, that's a tough hit to take. That's just not one you want to take. That's how guys get injured. So yeah, some good and some bad on that play. Moving on to this play, which I gotta set up a couple of things. First, I'm picking a different angle just because I think it's a cooler, not really cooler, but an easier way to see what's going on. You see there are arrows on the screen. That's from the broadcast. And also, you're going to see the screen kind of glitch out for a second on the top of the screen. This happens on a couple of times. Also on a play later, it will happen as well. Just letting you know, it was the broadcast. I had nothing to do with it, so I can't do anything about it. But anyways, let's get into the play itself. We're relatively simple play. This is going to be a man coverage situation. It's worth noting this is a 4th down and 3, so a very important play to get the conversion. And you see this route over the middle, but underneath the safety, definitely a route that can get open. And so that's why Bryce Young is going to smartly look in that direction. However, when Young does look in that direction, it's not really open. I mean, again, could you take a chance? You could, but there's not separation. I mean, the defensive player literally has his hand on the receiver's back. It's just not one that Bryce Young wants to look at. Now, that route is interesting because if he cuts back towards the offense's left, so that would be towards our right, he can get open. That's what he's about to do. So there is a chance for this play to still work. The issue, of course, is that it's just been going on for a while, and for Bryce Young, how much time are you really going to have? So what is he going to do in this situation? Well, watch him scramble towards the outside. You see the screen start to glitch, and you see right over there is a receiver who is open now, the guy I was talking about earlier. But for Bryce Young, I mean, this is a tough play, right? A Bills player is going to tackle you. You can't run for the first down. You're going to have to throw running towards your left as a right-handed quarterback. This is going to be difficult. However, watch Young show why he was drafted first overall. That's a really nice throw and a really good play to extend a drive on a 4th down and 3 play. And again, these are the plays that got him drafted over CJ Stroud. Of course, everyone's making fun of the Panthers now for that because of how good Stroud looked as a rookie, but Bryce Young was the consensus number 1 overall pick when he was selected. Most people had him as number 1, and it was because of plays like this. So seeing him do it at the NFL level is certainly promising. Because then it can also set up stuff like this, so now, hey, Bryce Young, really good on the move. Well, let's use that to our advantage. Something like this, where it's a zone coverage play. You're going to see him roll out towards the top of the screen. You have a receiver who's going to try and get into a gap in coverage. So when Young takes the snap, he runs a play action, and you see that right here. So 2 linebackers have moved pretty far in due to this play action, which again, this is something that happens in preseason. You get guys, ready to make a play, maybe being a bit too aggressive right here. The receiver who is running past those linebackers is definitely about to get open. But again, part of why this play is working is because they trust Bryce Young, if he rolls out, that he can throw on the run. He is going to have to throw on the run here. But he makes a very accurate off-balance throw, and they're able to pick up a completion and then some. A really nice play for the Carolina Panthers. And this is just something I think they're going to try and do with Bryce Young. Get him moving around, because that is really a strong part of his game. And also something like this, where what's going to happen is, so you see where those 2 Buffalo Bills players are. Those are 2 guys to watch on this play. So 3rd down and goal, that's the situation. And when this play begins, you're going to see the reason why I wanted to show those 2 linebackers for Buffalo. Because you notice they're both covering the halfback. And there are 2 potential reasons why they could be doing this. The first is they're really afraid of that halfback. That's a great halfback. You got to double team him. The real answer is, of course, this is a blown coverage. That guy for Carolina is now wide open. Nobody picked him up. 2 guys cover 1 player, nobody covering the other guy. And you see this player for Carolina saying, hey, Bryce, I'm open, get me the ball. But for Bryce, he doesn't need any help. He's already in the throwing motion. He knows this. He read this play certainly quicker than the Bills linebackers did. I mean, he's reading this play as quick as he can. He gets the ball over there. The screen doesn't know what to do about it. It's just so impressed with the great play by Bryce Young, and they're able to get a touchdown. Just really good stuff here from Young. So yeah, I mean, as a whole for Bryce Young, I thought it was a pretty good performance. Certainly something to, at the very least, get his confidence a bit up, because, let's be honest, I mean, it was rough last year. It was rough. And of course, it was not all his fault last year. There was so many, it goes without saying, there were so many issues with the Panthers. But still, Bryce Young is a human, and I'm sure that, and he still did make mistakes on top of it. I'm sure that it affected him a little bit. So getting him to just come in and play well, which we know he can do. Again, it's a preseason game. It's not on paper that big of a deal. But I think the mental side of things is kind of probably more what you would look at here. So yeah, how do I rate Bryce Young's performance? He was really good. It was an 8 out of 10, a 9 out of 10. I'll say 9 out of 10. Why not? I'll be very, I'll give him a good grade, because it was a very good performance, I thought. But yeah, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.